Morning, students. So let's study the next chapter of your English language, that is the perfect tenses. And in perfect tenses, first we are going to study about present perfect tense. So, what is present perfect tense, or what type of action does it describe or show? Now, present perfect tense actually describes an actions or shows an action that started in the past. Okay, so it shows an action that started in the past, but has just been completed. Okay, or but that has been recently completed. Okay, and the term present perfect suggests that the action has been completed recently. Okay, so let's revise again. Present perfect tense describes an action that started in the past but has just been completed, or that has been completed recently. Okay, now let's see a few more uses of present perfect tense. Now, first use is it is used to talk about unfinished actions or habits that started in the past and the results of which we can see or feel even in the present. For example, I have walked 4 kilometers already. So, this is showing an unfinished action because I'm still walking. Okay, and the effect can still be felt because he or she is still walking. Is it clear? So the first uses present perfect tense is used to talk about unfinished action. Okay, so in example you can see this action of walking is unfinished because this person is still walking. Okay, so I have walked 4 kilometers already, and the result of which we can feel or see in the present also. Okay, now next, present perfect tense is also used to talk about a past action whose time of occurrence is not known or is not important. Okay, so it is used to talk about a past action or action that has happened in past, and whose time of occurrence or when it that action happened is not important. Okay, for example, a collision has occurred outside my house. So this action of collision has occurred in the past, but when it has happened, that doesn't matter, or this is not important. Okay, so in such cases also we use present perfect tense. Now let's see the next use of present perfect tense. It is also used to talk about an action that was completed in the very recent past. Okay, uh, for example, I have just cleaned my room. So it is showing an action that has completed very recently. Okay, so in such cases we use present perfect tense. Now the last use of present perfect tense is it is used to talk about one's life experience, actions or events that happened sometime during a person's life where time is not important. Okay, example, she has been to London. So it is actually showing a life's event of someone's life, and when she had been to London, it's not important, but it is showing an event that happened sometime during a person's life. Okay, now let's try to understand about the structure. Okay, so as we have been studying in previous topics also, that mainly there are three types of sentences: affirmative sentence, negative sentence, and interrogative sentences. Okay, so now first we are going to see the structure of affirmative sentence or positive sentence in present perfect tense. So the pattern goes like this. First, we write subject, then we write auxiliary verb or helping verb, then we write past participle form of the verb, and then at last we write rest of the sentence. For example, he has closed the door. So he is subject, has here is auxiliary verb or helping verb, closed because as you can see there is ed, so this is past participle form of the verb, and then comes rest of the sentence. So this is the structure for affirmative sentence in present perfect tense. Now, next, let's see the structure of negative sentence in present perfect tense. Now, it is somewhat similar to affirmative. So, the pattern goes like this. First, we write subject, then we write auxiliary verb, and auxiliary verb used can be has or have. Then we use not. Okay, why we are using not? Of course, because it is negative sentence. Then again we write past participle form of the verb, then rest of the sentence. So let's see example. I have not met Supreet today. So I is subject, have again is auxiliary verb or helping verb. Of course, then we will put not because this is negative sentence. Then we have written past participle form of the verb met, and then rest of the sentence Supreet today. Now next comes the structure for interrogative sentence in present perfect tense. So the structure goes like this. First comes the auxiliary verb or the helping verb, then comes subject, then a past participle form of the verb, then rest of the sentence. Example, have you finished the work? Okay, so have is auxiliary verb, then comes subject, that is you, then comes past participle form of the verb finished, as you can see, then rest of the sentence the work. And of course don't forget to put question mark because we are dealing with interrogative sentence. Okay students, now next comes uh, past perfect tense. Okay, now past perfect tense indicates that an action was completed at some point of time in the past before another action began, or in other words, past perfect tense, it is used to show an action that was completed at some point of time in the past, okay, before another or different action began. Okay, now let's see its uses. Now, the first use of past perfect tense. Past perfect tense, it actually shows that two actions occurred in the past. Okay, so first of all, keep in mind, past perfect tense shows that two actions occurred or started in the past, and one action has been completed. Okay, out of two actions, one action had been completed much before the other. Now the past perfect is used for the earlier action. Example, when I reached the station, the train had left. So as you can see, here are two action students, reaching to the station and the leaving of train. So the past perfect tense is used for the earlier action. So what is the earlier action out of these two? The earlier action is the train had left. Okay, so in such cases we use past perfect tense. Is it clear? Okay, I'm revising again. Listen carefully. Uh, Past perfect tense is used to show that two actions started or occurred in the past. Okay, and out of which one action has completed much before the other action. Okay. Now, the past perfect tense is used for the earlier action. Okay. Uh, Example, when I reached the station, the train had left. So, as you can see, students, here are two actions. First action is reaching to the station, and the second action is uh, the leaving of train. So the past perfect tense is used for the earlier action. So what is the earlier action? Which action happened first? The leaving of train. So the train had left. Okay. So in such cases we use past perfect tense. Now, next use of past perfect tense. It is used to show an action or denote an action that is completed before a given point of time. Okay, in the past. Example: I had finished my dinner by 8 o'clock. So this action of finishing my dinner is actually completed before a given point of time. So here, what was the given point of time? That is 8 o'clock. So again, in such cases, we use past perfect tense. Now again, students, let's see the structure for past perfect tense. So first, we are going to see about affirmative sentence. Now, the structure goes like this. First comes subject, then comes auxiliary verb or helping verb, then again past participle form of the verb, and then rest of the sentence. For example, he had earned a lot of money. So he is subject, had again is auxiliary verb or helping verb, earned as you can see ed, so this is past participle form of the verb, then a lot of money, so this is rest of the sentence. Now next comes the structure for negative sentence. So again it is somewhat same as affirmative sentence, but only not is included in between. So the pattern goes like this: first comes subject, then comes auxiliary verb, and the auxiliary verb used is had, then not, then past participle form of the verb, and then rest of the sentence. Example is, she had not cooked any food for us. So she is subject, had is again auxiliary verb or helping verb, not we have to use because we are dealing with negative sentence. Cooked again is past participle form of the verb, and then any food for us, this is again rest of the sentence. And at last comes the pattern for interrogative sentence. Okay, so the structure goes like this: first comes the auxiliary verb, and what is the auxiliary verb here? Had. Then comes subject, then comes past participle form of the verb, then rest of the sentence. Example: had you completed the task? So had is again auxiliary verb, then comes you, that is subject, then comes completed, that is past participle form of the verb, and then rest of the sentence, the task. And of course, so students, because we are dealing with interrogative sentence, so don't forget to put question mark. Okay. Now last comes future perfect tense. Okay. Now future perfect tense is used to show an action, or it is used for action, for an action uh, which will have been finished at a particular time in the future. Let's try to understand it more thoroughly. Now, first use future perfect tense is used to show the completion of an action before a specified point in the future. Okay, or in other words, it is used to show an action that will be completed in the future, that will be completed in the future before a particular time, or before a specified time in the coming future. Okay, for example, uh, before the guests arrive, we will have cleaned up the house. Okay, so this action of cleaning up the house will be completed in the future. Okay, before what specific point, or before what particular point? Before the arrival of the guests. Okay, so first use of future perfect tense, it is used to show an action that will be completed in the future, that will be completed in the future before a particular or specified point in the future. Okay. Now next use, it is used to talk about actions that will take place after a given time in the future. Listen once again. It is used to talk about actions that will take place after a given time in the future. Okay. For example, by 2020, I will have known Pragya for 20 years. So, this action of knowing Pragya will be completed in the future. Okay, will be completed in the future after a given time. And what is the given time? By 2020. Okay, so what is the second use of future perfect tense? It is used to talk about actions that will take place after a given time in the future. Let's try to understand example once again. By 2020, I will have known Pragya for 20 years. So, this action of knowing Pragya for 20 years will be completed in the future after what? After 2020. So, this is the given time. Okay. So, after a given time in the future, this action of knowing Pragya will be completed. So in such cases also we use future perfect tense. Now again let's see the structure for affirmative sentence in future perfect tense. Now the pattern goes like this. First comes subject, then two auxiliary verbs, then past participle form of the verb, then rest of the sentence. Example is he will have arrived by 8 a.m. So he is a subject, will is auxiliary verb, have is auxiliary verb, arrived is past participle form of the verb, and then by 8 a.m. this is again a rest of the sentence. Okay. Now next comes a pattern for a negative sentence. So the pattern goes like this. First comes subject, then comes auxiliary verb. Then of course we are dealing with negative sentence, so we will put not. Then again comes auxiliary verb, then past participle form of the verb, then rest of the sentence. Okay. Now kindly keep in mind students, uh, for a negative sentence in future perfect tense, we will put not in between the two auxiliary verb. So first comes subject, then auxiliary verb, then not, then again auxiliary verb, then past participle form of the verb, and then rest of the sentence. Example, the dog, that is subject, will is first auxiliary verb, then we will put not, then have second auxiliary verb, then finished past participle form of the verb, and then again rest of the sentence. It's food by afternoon. Okay. And last comes the pattern for interrogative sentence in future perfect tense. So the pattern goes like this. First comes auxiliary verb, then subject, then again a second auxiliary verb, then past participle form of the verb, and then rest of the sentence. So it goes like this. Will you have bought your apartment by the end of this year? So will is auxiliary verb, then you is subject, then again comes the second auxiliary verb have, then bought is past participle form of the verb, then your apartment by the end of this year. So again this is interrogative sentence, and don't forget to put question mark as we are dealing with interrogative sentence. So students, that's it for this topic. Thank you for watching.